drift, I'm a drifter. It is something that I do. I never cared much for routine or discipline like you. If you're born adrift, then drifting's what you're gonna do. Some of us, we choose to drift a lifetime through. Or do we choose how that's part of it? Decisions come and go. Rigid expectations, the only thing a drifter knows. And all the things they said I could have done, I'll never get to do. 'Cause I was born adrift. Do you like drifting? Do you like drifting? I'm a bit like you.
This morning we're up outside of Whitby Abbey, just in the background, where we've been taking some photographs, doing a photo shoot for some posters and some images for Steampunk.Global, who provide our fantastic coats. The coat Flick's wearing here, my usual coat from the video, corsets. They've also got some more coats in the works as well, and the silver coat you'll remember from the video. But we're also here in Whitby because it is an important point in the story of Dracula, the book.
So having climbed up all those stairs to reach the graveyard, we're going to find the benches where Lucy and Mina sat and watched Dracula's ship come in and crash on the shores below. Also, if we can find it, Dracula's first victim. His tombstone should be here somewhere.
Now, when Flick says about Mina and Lucy sitting up here on the benches, and she says about trying to find the grave of Dracula's first victim, that of course is in the fictional world of Dracula. But if you take that to the real world of Bram Stoker, the writer, he came up here, he'd sit up here. That is why these views feature so prominently in the book. And also, he looked around the graveyard and he took people's names to use them in his book. And one of the names he took to use was the name Swales, from one of the tombstones, who became Dracula's first victim when he arrives in Whitby. So, if we can find Swales' tombstone, we have found a very solid piece of inspiration for a specific moment in the book. We've just spoken to one of the stewards in the church, and they've told us that nobody really knows which one of the graves is the right one. A lot of them have weathered, especially since Bram Stoker was writing here, and also there were a number of swales in the churchyard. We just don't know which one. And she's also given us some other information, so we're going to try and find the spot where Bram Stoker's actually said to have sat and written. But while we're in the churchyard, just wanted to point out a couple of the real graves, and ones like this one here. You know, she says, in remembrance of, and in remembrance of is actually code in this churchyard, essentially. In remembrance of means the body was never recovered. This is a coastal town, this is by the sea, and a lot of bodies lost out. This one here is somebody who was drowned along with 11 other people when a lifeboat overturned. And we've just been talking to the steward, and she says a number of people that are interested in Dracula, searching for Dracula, come up here and they take photographs laying on the tombs and just being incredibly disrespectful to the fact that these are real people that are buried here. So if you are going to come up here, look at it. It's incredible. Look at some of the stories, but please, please be respectful. So if you come on one of the walks and things around, we've not done one ourselves, but I gather that this one here is the tomb they will show you as the tomb of Swales. So in the book there's a great big storm. Lucy and Mina are sat up on the hill just up the top over there, and they see this ship struggling in the storm, and it's trying to make for the harbour, but it seems to be moving oddly, and eventually it makes it through the harbour wall, comes up and crashes against the beach behind me here. When that happens, this big black dog, Dracula in dog form, leaps off and rushes away. And when they go and search the ship, there was nobody on board the ship other than the captain, who is found dead, but he's tied himself onto the ship's wheel.
So this is a spot where Stoker used to sit. He would sit here and write his book, and it was this view that was the inspiration for Dracula. There's also a nice story that the lady up there told us, that he actually had a fish supper, only the fish was actually off. And so this caused him to hallucinate. Perhaps that is where he got the idea for the figure, the dark figure hanging over Lucy, for bats flying around, for the ghost dog. Might have nothing to do with it, might just be a nice story. But that is definitely the view that Stoker had. So in Romania, when we went to Pinari Fortress, we had all the signs warning about bear attacks. Don't feed bears, don't leave food out. Bears attack people because of food. They're coming into conflict, same areas with people. All around Whitby, however, it is the signs, don't encourage seagulls, don't feed seagulls, they are starting to attack people, they are vicious. Wherever we go with this journey, something wants to attack us, and I haven't yet been attacked by Dracula. Bears and seagulls, however, definitely seen some evidence of those. On a serious note though, it's very easy to want to feed the wildlife. They're calling just behind me, they're beautiful. You feed them, you encourage them to interact with people, and then when accidents happen and someone gets pecked or a kid gets jumped on by a seagull, that's when they bring in birds of prey to kill the seagulls.
Here we are on the spot where Bram Stoker sat and thought about Dracula, and the view of the abbey and the churchyard over there is just amazing, but it's different from how it would have been when he was there. We know the graves have slipped and they've had erosion and all sorts of other trouble. But you think about what that has inspired, and it's been fascinating for us to try and find out both the background of Dracula and the story behind Vlad the Impaler himself. So if you want to know a little bit more about how we actually did that, then make sure you do head on over and watch our main video, Romania, Seeking Dracula's Castle.